Hello, mixtresses and mixters. This is Mixtress Ray, and you're watching Mixtress Video. Um, I know many of us are extremely excited about the new Modern Witch Tarot, me among them. I have been waiting for this deck pretty much since I started obsessing about tarot this year. I think I found out about it back in like January or February, and so it's finally come out. And rather than doing an unboxing for you guys, because first of all, let's be honest, when this came in, it's the like special edition. Um, when it came in, I was too excited to wait to film a video, and I was headed out the door for like errands and stuff. And so I unboxed it in the car. So I was not so that's part of the reason why I'm not doing another unboxing for you guys. And the other part is you guys have seen many unboxings of this particular deck. Or if you haven't, you can if you'd like to see that. But one thing that I haven't seen done yet, and it's possible I've just missed it if it has been done, is a comparison between the Modern Witch Tarot and the Smith-Waite. Because it is, I would consider Modern Witch to be a direct clone of Smith-Waite, but it's modernized, it's diversified, it has many expressions of gender, it has like racial diversity, of course, it's got body diversity. It's in many ways, I think it is kind of the superior modern version of the Smith-Waite. So I'm going to do a comparison, a direct comparison today between the two. I have not yet pitted them up against each other side by side myself. So this is going to be fun for me and hopefully fun for you as well. So let's get into it. First of all, I would like to light this candle here. This beautiful, I got this really cool, I subscribed to the Goddess Provisions box for like a 6-month thing. And this is like my next to last month. I got this really cool little lighter cover. Yeah, anyway, okay, let's get into it. First of all, just a minor grievance. Modern decks, the fact that they have this propensity to be like super thick. This deck is almost impossible to riffle shuffle. Just as a comparison, you can see how much thicker it is than just a standard. This is just a standard vintage, like 90s vintage, not actually that old version of the Smith-Waite. I'm a little disappointed in how thick it is. It does shuffle, overhand shuffling. It is awesome, this Modern Witch, because it has jumping cards like no other deck I've ever used. So if you're into the whole jumping card thing, it's great for that. It could be also quite annoying because sometimes you're asking a question and you're overhand shuffling and like 6 cards pop out. It's like, oh, okay. But anyway, let's get into it. Just direct side-by-side comparison. Look at that. I mean, it's just what they've done by and large is just so amazing to me. Ever since I got this Modern Witch Tarot, I've been using it exclusively. I mean, it's just, I can't even take it. I can't even take it, you guys. This is the most beautiful magician card I've ever seen in my life. Lisa Sterl's use of color with all the gorgeous tones of purple, and then the background of this, I just love that type of yellow, that sort of like greenish, brownish, burnt yellow. It's fantastic. I love doing spreads with this deck too, because for me, I know the Smith-Waite system really well. So it's extremely easy to understand. And whenever I pull a huge spread, I love that, you know, you just see all this diversity. I personally have not ever had a deck that is this culturally diverse, and I know they're out there, but I haven't had one before, and it almost makes me cry every time I do a spread and I just see all these black and brown people winking back at me. You know, it just makes me incredibly happy. Oh, and I just want to do a little, I haven't seen someone mention this yet. It's possible that they have. And if, I haven't seen all the videos of the Modern Witch Tarot, but I really like that she has lemons on her skirt. Like, I mean, this obviously isn't a direct clone of Beyonce, but I think the choice of putting lemons instead of pomegranates on the Empress's gown, to me, is evocative of Beyonce's Lemonade, or is a little nod to that at least, and that makes me very happy. This is my favorite Emperor card ever. I love it so much. It's just amazing to me that, like, Lisa Sturl was able to get almost all of the elements of, you know, the symbolism within the Smith-Waite deck while just completely modernizing it and having such a beautiful color story. And it's just great. I mean, how great is it to have a Hierophant card that doesn't piss you off? I'm happy about that. And I like that with this Lovers card, there are only like 2 or 3 people in the entire Modern Witch Tarot that you could, if you wanted to, you could interpret them as men. They're mostly different gender representations on the woman spectrum. But I really like the fact that the Lovers are shown from the back here. So if you wanted to, you could interpret this as a male energy. Or if you don't, then you don't have to. Because it's just butts. And butts are gender neutral. How great is this, looking at these side by side? Because it definitely evokes the spirit of the Smith-Waite cards. Every single one of them does. The only thing, there are like little tiny nitpicks that I have with the Modern Witch, but there aren't many at all. But one of them is, I feel like the person in the Strength card would not be wearing heels. And I also kind of wish that she were looking at the lion. But it's still a beautiful image. Sorry, I'm probably not going to be able to like straighten this pile because it's just going to slide all over the place, because that's what these cards do. These cards are, they want to move. The Modern Witch cards, they want to move. My Michael pointed out, and I hadn't noticed it, but she kind of does have like a Buffy face. She kind of looks like Sarah Michelle Gellar. And she's wearing blue. Oh my God, this Temperance card. Again, gender neutral butts in the Devil card. Love this Star card. I love it, love it, love it. It's gorgeous. I really like that. And I mean, I am always a fan of having as many animals in a deck as possible, but I enjoy the choice to make all of the animals in the traditional moon card be human in the modern witch tarot. It makes sense to me. Yeah. Not a lot of age diversity in the modern witch tarot. That's like one of the only aspects of diversity that isn't really represented. You do see a few older figures, but not very many. And this is really, you do see a child, I think, in the 10 of Pentacles and a child in the 6 of Cups. But I think this is the only other child in the deck. I could be wrong. Oh, I guess there's children here. And this, even though we still have like this sort of, whatever this is supposed to symbolize. I don't know what the red cross on the flag is supposed to symbolize in the Judgment card, but it is cool that this image does not feel like it's hitting me over the head with religion, whereas this one kind of does. Even though they're all the same symbolism is kind of there. Gorgeous. I didn't even like think about the fact that the hand is in a separate position in these two different cards, or in these two, in the Ace of Wands. At first I was a little put off by the whole smartphone thing. Like in general, I don't want to see smartphones and laptops in a deck, but it makes sense in this deck and I am getting used to it. And I mean, it totally makes sense, him holding the world over here. She's got the world in her hands. I mean, we all have the world in our hands with our smartphones. And that has incredible benefits to us and also trappings as well. You know, it's good and bad. Superior. Like almost every time I'm just like, yeah, this card is superior to the Smith-Waite. And it's because Pixie left us a foundation of beautiful imagery that we are still resonating with. You know, I use this deck all the time. I keep the Smith-Waite Centennial Edition in a tin in my car, in my glove compartment. I'm ready to pull it out anytime. Like, it's still image that resonates with, these are still images that highly resonate with us. And since Lisa Sturl was able to take that beautiful foundation that Pixie left for us and make it even more relevant to us today is amazing. She was able to take the energy and the symbolism and modernize it, and it's incredible. Like, it totally makes sense to me how popular it is. I love the horses in this deck. The other day I pulled aside all the horses in Modern Witch and just like looked at them side by side. I think the horses are so cute. They sort of have like an anime, sort of My Little Pony quality to them, but not too much. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. I mean, look at that. I mean, she just expanded upon Pixie's imagery for this Eight of Wands. You know, she just added, you know, we're in the desert, guys, and motorcycle and some clouds showing even more movement than the original card had. I'm a little sad that some of the like lizard symbolism going on in the Wands court cards is not as present in Modern Witch. Like there's no lizard in this card at all. But I still love it. I still think it says what it needs to say. I just kind of wish that symbolism were there. Oh, and I've been wrestling. I think I said this in another video, like a video that I did months ago, like the way that I order the court cards. Do I want to do them in astrological order? If I did them in astrological order, they'd be in a different order in every suit, because it's not really consistent what the generally agreed upon astrological associations to each court card are. But I think at least for myself, I mean, you guys probably don't care, but at least for myself, I've decided I want to put the pages at the end. I like the idea of like that sort of student beginner imagery being, symbolism, energy being at the end of each court suit. And I don't want to put the king above the queen. So for me personally, right now, the way that I personally rank the court cards is knight, king, queen, page. So you do get the lizard happening here. He's gotten his own tail. He's made it. Gorgeous. Look at her skin. Isn't that amazing? I like that this is a little bit more simplified. You know, I'm not sure what all of this symbolism is supposed to be with like the dove and the little, this looks like kind of like a communion wafer or something. And I don't know what the W is. Like, of course I could look that up, but I like that it's a little bit more simplified here. Like you still have the lily pads and the water and you've got a heart, and that's enough. And I enjoy that all the cups are consistent. They're all these same shaped cups and they're all pink. And it just makes me so happy. I've been waiting so long for this deck. I mean, it feels like it for me because I've really only been into tarot hardcore this year. So the fact that I've been waiting most of this year for this Modern Witch deck, I was really kind of mentally preparing myself for being disappointed in it, because that's how I am. I anticipate things so heavily that it's almost impossible for me to not be disappointed. And the first couple days I was, just because I had built this deck up in my mind so much. But then after a couple of days, I just became totally in love with this deck, and it makes me so happy. And I have another copy of it too, which is ridiculous, but I trimmed it and edged it in hot pink. You can see pictures of that on my Instagram, Mixtress Ray, if you're interested. It looks pretty good. And I've decided to keep it with me in my purse at all times. So I just am so in love with this deck. Anyway, I really enjoyed that I like that she sort of altered the symbolism here. Instead of like a kid that's only a couple years older offering a cup of nostalgia to the younger child, I like that it's like an actual adult kind of handing some of her nostalgia and living through the younger child here. I love the little witch hat. Little witch hat. It's an understated witch hat. I like that. At first I was a little, like, imagery of tornadoes still bother me because my town and my house and a lot of my family's houses were all destroyed in a tornado in 2011. So it's difficult for me to deal with tornado imagery, but you know, that's just a little nitpick. And it's okay. I mean, it's just in this one cup. I just won't choose that cup, you know. I just love the fact that the cups are pink. It just like adds an element of color. And I like how dark the background is in this too. It's almost more evocative. Honestly, most of these images are a little bit more evocative than the original. I mean, I'd much rather look at her than him. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Look at this Knight of Cups. How cool is she? I love all the kings in this deck too. This is a deck that like I don't have, I mean, obviously any masculinity represented in this deck is sort of masculine women. So I am totally comfortable with that type of masculinity. I would have liked to see like a little bit more flamboyant representation because I love how like that page's tunic is so ridiculous. I would have liked to see a little bit more ridiculousness in her outfit, a little bit more pattern, but at least there's a nice nod to it here on her sleeve. Looks like it's only that one ace so far that has changed the position of the hand. It's just the wands. I just want to see if that's correct real quick. Whoops, what am I doing? There we go. Yep. So it's only the wand. I don't know why that matters to me, but there it is. Only the wands, the ace of wands that changes the position of the hand. Two of Swords is a very important one for me, and I think they did a pretty good job with it. The only nitpick that I have is, for me, it's important that her legs are uncrossed, that her body is open. It's just her arms that are crossed. So I don't really like that her legs are crossed. But other than that, I think this evokes the right meaning for Two of Swords for me personally. Again, every nitpick I have with Modern Witch is tiny. I really like the whole black blood bleeding out because that kind of subverts the heartbreak aspect of the Three of Swords. Because yeah, whatever it is you're going through in the Three of Swords is heartbreaking, but it's also something that needs to be broken. Like your heart needs to be broken in that moment. And this evokes that for me better than that does. Okay, this is one of the, I think this is the only card that by itself I am overall disappointed with this card. I don't like that she doesn't have the one sword underneath her, so you can't see that she's already overcome one of them. And I don't like how distressed she looks. Because for me, Four of Swords is not about being distressed. It's about resting between battles. It's about taking a day off. And this is a day off that she didn't want and she's not enjoying. So this is really the only card. I mean, there's tiny nitpicks in other cards, but this is the only one I'm disappointed with the way that it's represented here. Yeah, because this looks more like a Nine of Swords to me. I kind of like this Seven of Swords because it kind of subverts the meaning to me. It kind of takes it to a level that helps me understand it a little better. Like, yeah, she looks like she's sneaking, but it might not be that she might be sneaking for the right reasons. And you don't necessarily get that here. You think he's sneaking for the wrong reasons, which he might not be either. But he looks like he's sneaking for the wrong reasons, and she doesn't. But she could be, you know, you can see it either way. I love the bedspread here. Doesn't have the same symbolism, I guess. I could see how somebody might be a little disappointed that, like, the astrological symbols and planetary symbols that are in this bedspread are not represented here, but I still think it's awesome. The card that started it all. This is the first card that Lisa Sturl made. And this is the color that I was trying to match whenever I edged my other deck. I guess I could probably get it out and like show it to you guys since I keep mentioning it just in case anybody's interested. So at the end, I'll get it out really quick just so you can see my trimmed and edged version of this deck. I really struggled with it for a minute. Like, am I really going to keep two versions of this deck? Like, I don't know about that. I love this King of Swords with the pink and the pine trees, and they're in the clouds and butterflies, and I like that she sort of like put more detail into the birds in the background. Like, you can tell that those are, I mean, to me, those are crows. Maybe they're not. Their heads are a little not crow-like, but I'm going to see them as crows because that's how I choose to see it. Same thing on the Queen. She put more detail into the silhouette of the bird, and I like that. And you've got this crow silhouette here. I much prefer that to like a cherub face. I'm glad she didn't keep that cherub face in there. I kind of missed like these little moon phases here. Would have liked to have seen that over here. But again, tiny nitpicks. I'm a little sad that, like, you know, she kept the birds in the other swords cards, but she didn't keep the birds in the page. I don't know. I guess there isn't a bird in the night. Is there a bird in the night? Yeah, there are. There are little tiny birds in the night. There's no birds in this night. So she took the birds out of the night in the page and she made them more detailed in the King and Queen. So not sure what the thought process behind that was. Probably just, you know, to get the card done sooner. That's one thing that like worries me about like our current super connected social media society. Like, I think artists now, since they're kind of sharing with us as they're creating their decks, they probably feel really a lot of pressure from outside and in to finish the decks faster, which sometimes means you're going to have some sort of level of quality missed. I don't think it's very obvious with this deck. I mean, I love this deck so much. It's already, for me, it's kind of taken the place of the Smith-Waite. Like, it's not like I won't still use this, because I will. But overall, it's going to be the one I reach for in most of the instances in the past when I would have reached for this one. So I don't think that like there's a ton of lost quality or anything. She did a great job with this deck. But there are those little moments that, like, if she had had a little bit more time to think about it, she might have added a little bit more detail here and there. It's interesting, like the symbolism is really kept the same in this Six of Pentacles, but it doesn't upset me as much. You know, this one really looks like I'm lording over you and I am keeping track of how much I give you so that I can like do what is expected of me and move on, you know? You know, this guy is getting his like tax receipts every time he gives to charity, and it's just kind of like gross feeling. But she's not balancing that, you know? Maybe she still is balancing what she gives. And these two people are still kind of begging, but yeah, I don't know. It makes it slightly less upsetting, although I kind of wish she would have changed the entire meaning of, because I don't like to see the Six of Pentacles as like giving to the poor. I'm so righteous, you know, like this one. I think this is self-portrait. I think this is actually a depiction of Lisa Sturl working on this deck right here. I love that because I think it's, you know, sometimes it can be a little self-indulgent to put yourself in your deck, but I like, she didn't like make herself the Queen of Pentacles or something, you know, she made herself the Eight of Pentacles. She made herself like, she portrayed herself as just another person working hard. And I like that. Like if you're going to put yourself in your tarot deck, don't make yourself a queen. You know what I'm saying? Even though you might want to, and it's tempting. And not like you don't have a right to do that, but we get slightly, I mean, I would think that this is kind of an older person just because of the lines on the face. Like she might be in her 40s. Look at that cute, cute, cute little bird. Let's get real close to that cute little bird. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I'm kind of like confused by the look on this knight's face. Like, why does she look so bored? She should look a little bit more determined, I think. But she kind of looks bored. Cute horse, though. Last few cards, I'm just gonna like do a super huge close up for no reason. Oh my god, look at this queen. It's very important to me for some reason. Like if I were creating my own deck, the Queen of Pentacles would definitely be a black woman. For some reason, that is important to me. And I love that she got that. That both the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles, which I think of as kind of sister cards, get to be black women. And I'm so happy about that. And I love that, like, in this one, it took me a while to even realize that there was a bunny in the Queen of Pentacles of the original deck, because it blends in so much. So I like that this bunny is, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. I like that this bunny is up front and center. Look at that bunny. Look at that bunny. All right. And then Page of Pentacles. She looks so cool and studious, doesn't she? All right, so that is comparison between old school Smith-Waite and modern witch. And I am going to just real quick, I brought this out so we can see. This is the bag that comes with like the special edition modern witch. And this is where I keep this in my purse with my trimmed edition. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like. I love this like fuchsia pink. I guess if you guys are interested, if you want to see what I edged it with in case you want to do the same. It is this Sharpie. You going to focus? Can you focus on the Sharpie? Hello. Okay, whatever. It's Sharpie brush. It doesn't say what color it is, but it's the one that looks like it's dark purple. But when you actually use it, it's actually this bright fuchsia. And there we go. It really tore up this. The last like 20 cards or so were really hard to edge. I have edged one other deck with this particular pen. So, I mean, if you do decide to do this, it's going to eat it up, you know, probably just use it for this one deck. Yeah. And it was in the trash. So that's why I just threw it right back in the trash. So it does bleed. So if that's a problem for you, Sharpie always bleeds, I think. It is not a problem for me. And it was really fun to just like spend time with this deck, trimming it. So just in case you've thought about it, this is what it looks like trimmed. This is my card of the month. Page of Swords. Just real quick. Just gonna not go through the whole thing, but so there you go. There's that beautiful Empress. Yep. So I like it. It did. I was able to get, the borders aren't completely symmetrical on the back because I was trying to cut as little out of the card as possible. I wanted to just take the borders off and that is it. So in order to do that, like the back isn't completely centered, but it takes the borders off the back. And for the most part, it did a good job on that. So yeah, pretty great. Okay. Very happy with the Modern Witch Tarot. What do you guys think of it? I know a lot of people aren't, I mean, the whole Rider-Waite Smith system is going to either work for you or not. So the fact that it works for me means that this is great. This is a great addition to my collection. And even though I've been anticipating it all freaking year, it was totally worth it. And I'm happy to have it. So I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.